I hear a lot in the industry about MMC is going to kill the freedom and expressionism of architects in their process of designing buildings, et cetera, et cetera. What are you hearing back from the industry when it comes to that, and what's your own opinion?
Yeah, sure, and that's a valid point, and I think that probably is a concern generally in my view, but I think if you're aware and you understand MMC, I think that's far from the truth. I would like to see it where we have mass standardization with mass customization.
Yeah.
So if we move into a kit of parts approach and not just a standardized layout, if we begin to tease out kits of parts and you take all of those kits of parts, can you imagine a Lego piece, when we have all the different standardized Lego components, and we can put those together and create fantastic pieces, whereas that doesn't restrict your freedom of design. Whereas, if we can integrate that MMC kit of parts approach and then drive forward with a design. I recently had the opportunity to visit Croydon Towers, Tide Modular. I think it's the tallest and second tallest modular buildings in the world. Fantastic layouts, the facade looked amazing in terms of, it definitely didn't look like a standard modular tower, and I think and that's where your DFMA approach comes through, in terms of understanding, okay, how do we build this? What are the limitations? And then optimizing throughout the entire process.
It's like the motor industry in reality, that when you look at different cars out from the outside, they look differently. That's the design aspect. That's the architecture of a building, right? That's what we see, what most people see, especially if you're not involved in the construction industry. You see the outside of the building. That's the architecture. The component aspect that gets you to that can be anything really, because the skeleton that sits underneath the skin, no one sees. Same with the car manufacturing industry. You look at Audi or Volkswagen or any of the brands under that umbrella, the kit of parts underneath the hood are all generally the same. They're just selective. So if we can get as far as that, I think the opposite when it comes to architecture, the more you constrain the freedom of the architecture, the more I think the architect has to develop in terms of the solution. If there's full freedom, it can be anything, right? But if you're restricting that freedom in terms of that kit of parts, then it becomes something much different. How can you express yourself as an architect to make that happen?